there, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see from the title, we have a perfume warehouse haul. I went to a perfume warehouse near me this past weekend and I got some goodies and I wanted to share them with you because I've got designer and niche and they were all really exciting purchases. So I hope you guys will enjoy. We've got some blind buys and some not. Oh, I actually think this is the first time I've got mainly not blind buys. I've got one blind buy and 4 fragrances that I already knew, which is the most in a haul. Like, that is incredible that that happened to me. So yeah, if you are interested, definitely keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. All that good stuff and more is always in the description box. And let's start with a particular favorite on YouTube because I'm about to bite my own tongue. This is a scent that is beloved in the fragrance YouTube world, that is hyped to no end. And when it first came out especially, I felt like everyone is all about it. And I've actually sampled it before in one of my videos previously. If you've been watching all along, you will have seen that I tried it and I liked it, but I was like, oh, I really wouldn't get a full bottle unless it was like a crazy good deal or something, but I don't really see myself being that into it. Well, we are at the day where the crazy good deal happened, and the fragrance in question is La Belle by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Here she is in all her glory, in her 100 ml glory. Obviously because it was a warehouse sale there, it was a good deal, and it was a tester like box, so you don't get like the top or anything, which is fine because I'm gonna throw this out anyways. And here she is. I mean, this is so classic me to go from sampling it and being like, it's not really for me, to getting a full, like the largest bottle you can possibly get. So here she is. I have to admit, I am a huge fan of Jean-Paul Gaultier and I really do like the bottles. I feel like they're very collectible. And this one's a little bit more like angular, superhero-like. So this is like a pear-centric fragrance. This has pear, bergamot, floral notes, vanilla, vetiver, leather, amber, and musk. And I just remember it's like a very sweet, almost like vanilla sugar sweet pear is what I recall. I've definitely smelled it before, but like I said, it's been a while, and like I also said, it wasn't like it was my absolute favorite, but I did remember liking it. I just felt like the hype was insane. Okay, yeah. Now, see, I don't know if this is just because I've got the full bottle now and I'm like psychologically I'm into it more, but it is nice. I mean, there's definitely a sweetness there. I have to kind of compare with that sample. I wonder if I can find the sample of La Belle. I'd love to compare it to that and see if this one, there's like batch differences, because I feel like that one had more pear than this does. This smells very sweet to me, but kind of like an amber sweetness, which makes sense because there's amber in this, but this smells a lot more ambery and warm, which again, I don't know if it's just like I'm just like reverse psychology myself and thinking that this one smells different, but I felt like the sample was more pear centric. I do like it. I really do like it. There was something almost buttery about it, and I don't know if you guys feel the same. I don't know if any of you will agree, but smelling it on my hand, the amber is really much more pronounced, which I do like. There's a lot of like vanilla sweetness, but there's something almost like buttered popcorn to this, and I swear it must just be in my head, but that is what I get. So I know it's not in the notes at all or anything that would even kind of remotely allude to that is listed, but to me, not having smelled the sample, like smelling full-on sprays from this bottle, that's what I get. I get somewhat of like a buttery, it's in the background, but like a buttered popcorn. So yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time on her. La Belle, Jean-Paul Gaultier. She is in my life now, you guys. I gave in to the hype, and while I still don't think she can hold a candle to the original, classique eau de toilette, or really any of the classiques, I do prefer them. It is nice to have her in my collection. Anyways, all right. So now we will move very swiftly along. I'm going to save the 3 hint, hint, nudge, nudge replica fragrances for last. So we move on to the other one. And this one, again, it's in a tester bottle. I'm actually very excited to have this as part of my collection because this is my cousin, not the cousin you guys have seen on my channel, another cousin's signature scent. Like, she loves this. She is not a fragrance fiend like I am, but she does like fragrances. And she's gone with me many a time. And this is one that, like, she got on her own and she just like completely vibed with it. And I think she's gone through 2 bottles. So I was like, you know what? I gotta get it. I've definitely smelled it before. I smelled it because she told me she loved it so much and asked me what I thought. And I was like, well, I gotta try it if you're going through bottles. And here she is. This is Pure Musc by Narciso Rodriguez. I'm so excited to have this as part of my collection. It's an eau de parfum. I really do like it. I'm going to remind myself of the scent, of course, but you guys know me. You know I love a Narciso musk. You know I'm all up for that. So it was just a matter of time for this to be in my collection. Again, I waited for a pretty good deal, which I'm happy I got. This is the full 100 ml, I believe. So yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's the 100 ml. And like I said, I don't care that it's a tester bottle. I'm very, very excited. This lists musk, flowers, and cashmere. Again, these Narciso Rodriguez fragrances don't necessarily list a whole lot of notes, and they all have that quintessential musk, or the majority of them do, but I feel like there is a definite difference. So let's smell it. Let's remind myself. I have to send a photo of this to my cousin after this video to say that I finally have it as part of my collection, because you guys, she goes through bottles of this. Like, this is her jam. And I could never be this person, obviously, like surrounded by scents, but I love like seeing other people's fragrance collections that aren't fragrance collectors, because I feel like they really, I don't know, they're really putting in so much like effort, and they like get sad when they finish a bottle because they're gonna have to buy the same thing. Like, I just think it's sweet because I've never been that kind of person. Okay. I'm trying to really mentally compare it to the other Narciso fragrances so I can better explain, because I feel like this one, it's hard to explain, but I feel like this one is definitely different. Like, it's different than all my cubes. It's different than the like original Narciso Rodriguez for her, in that there is a more pure, pure musk. There's a lot more of like a pure cleanliness vibe to this, but it doesn't smell clean like how the clean fragrances smell. The brand clean, because it's not soapy or like laundry like, but it just smells like a much more clean musk. It's almost very removed from the Narciso musk comparatively to the others. Like, there is a lot less powderiness to this one, actually. And it's a lot more of just, like I said, a lot more cleanness and pure, like linear, I would even say. And yeah, I think those would be the best descriptors. The way that like Narciso Poudre is such of like a powder bomb, and that powderiness really does exist even in the Rouge, even in the Eau de Toilette, like the black cube, I feel like has more, whilst Floral has more of like the Narciso powderiness. Ombre even has it for sure. This has it the least. Like, this, I would say, for me, isn't really powdery. It's much more clean, much more pure, much more, it just almost has, I don't even want to use the word minty because I'm trying to be very careful, but I feel like there is such a freshness to this. So yeah, I'm happy to have it as part of my collection. I'm more so happy that now I have this like thing to relate to my cousin with, because this is like her favorite scent ever. She's always wanted me to get it and try it out and have it. So Yeah, I'm happy to have that. Pure Musc by Narciso Rodriguez for her. All right. So now we are going to get to the 3 replicas. You heard that correctly. I went a little bit ham. There was a huge replica section, and I currently only have 1 replica fragrance, and I really just have never, I have a couple roller balls, but I haven't ever had any other full bottles. Lipstick On is one that I've bought numerous times when it was when it was available for my mom. So I'm pretty familiar with that one. I love it. But I've never owned my own bottle, and now it's discontinued and so hard to find. But I've really liked a bunch of replica scents, but I've never owned any more bottles. And today's the day. Like, I really just went from 1 to 4 now because I've got 3 more. I will leave the only one that's blind for last. Like, I ifed and ummed about that one the most because I must have smelled it at some point, I guess, but I don't recall at all. I'm going to start with the 2 I know what they smell like. And I will start with, let's see. I will start with, I'm going to start with the one that probably the most of you are familiar with, and that's By the Fireplace. The amount of hype that this fragrance got, like, I get it. I've smelled this one, obviously. It's supposed to be about Chamonix 1971, have notes of burning wood and chestnut. It's supposed to be unisex. This lists cloves, pink pepper, orange blossom, chestnut, gaiac wood, juniper, Peru balsam, and cashmerean. I definitely think that there is like a great quality to this scent, but at the same time, the hype around this was just so much to begin with that I never picked it up, or at least I never picked up a full bottle. So while I've sampled this, I've never owned a full bottle, and again, like I said, today was the day I was just gonna bite the bullet with By the Fireplace, and I figured, you know, it's a good time of year to get this one. Oh my God, it's so hard to open, because it's a very fall, wintry type fragrance. It's very warm. And here she is. So I got them obviously in the 100 ml in the full size. Here she is. I've obviously smelled this one, but we're just gonna remind ourselves of it. It is nice. There is actually like a really nice warmth to it without ever choking yourself out with this fragrance. I think that's probably why people like it so much. There is like a depth to it, a warmth to it. It's a lot of woodiness and kind of smokiness, and the cloves in there. Like, a lot of the notes are quite strong, and they're quite inviting and warm and fall winter vibes. And sometimes the combination of all of those things can be overwhelming or just way too much, especially for like an average fragrance buyer. But I think this fragrance really toes the line beautifully of being like mass appealing and yet interesting, and warm and complex. So I really like it. There is a true fireplace like smokiness to it that I think is my favorite part of the fragrance. It's obviously the central selling point of the fragrance. And there was never anything like scent wise holding me back from it. I always liked it, but I think there was just like a lot of hype around it for a very long time that I kind of pulled back and didn't really get any of the other replica fragrances from Maison Martin Margiela. I just had At the Barber's, which is like forever a very special fragrance to me, and I love that one. And then I needed a beat, but I'm really happy to have this. I'm gonna get some really, really good wear of this one in this fall and winter, because now that I have it, of course, I'm going to overspray and wear it to death. So I love that. I love a fireplace fragrance. I love like burning wood smokiness. I think it's done to perfection. Okay, moving along. The second one, I actually wasn't gonna pick this one up until I smelled it again, and I was like, what have I been missing out on? I was like, this is just gonna be your run-of-the-mill citrus. It's not important, but then I tried it and I loved it. So this is Under the Lemon Trees. It's supposed to be Palermo 1987, Relaxing and bright lemon are the fragrance descriptors, and this is also unisex. So this is, let me get the notes for you guys: lime, petitgrain, mate, cardamom, green tea, coriander, white musk, cedar, and rock rose. Get it out. I really found myself liking this one. Like when I tried it, the sample, or the tester rather, I was like, why have I undermined this scent altogether? Like there is something so beautiful about it. I need to try it out, and I need it in my life. I love this. It does have, now smelling it kind of removed from all the testers, it definitely does have a quality to it where you're like, okay, is this every other Acqua di Parma fragrance out there? Maybe, but that's just the opening. The opening is very like petitgrain, lemon, lime, citrus overload. What I like about this one is actually in its heart, and because I've tried it out, I know that now. I would say give this one a beat. It kind of softens to a little bit more of an, I don't want to say herbaceous, but it's got like, I guess it's like the tea and the mate and everything. It just has a little bit more of like an herbal softness to it in its heart, and like a soft muskiness that comes through that doesn't make it sweet. Like none of these things really change it. It's still a citrusy scent for sure, but it just like, it changes it for me in that it makes it a little more interesting and just a little bit brighter and not so linear in its tartness. I really like this. This is kind of the opposite of By the Fireplace. I think I bought this probably a little bit off season and just a little bit off the optimal time where this is probably going to shine the best, but I just had to give in because these replica ones, I learned my lesson with lipstick on. It's hard now to, like, it's near impossible to find full bottles, and eventually I would like to get a maybe like if someone's like reselling a bottle, I would like to get one, but for a while there it was just so ubiquitous with like my mom's signature scent that I just let her have that one, even though lipsticky scent is my favorite. All that to say, I learned my lesson with replicas, and if I find them on deals, snag them up once they're getting discontinued. I guess this one is as well, or maybe it's not, but I just didn't want to miss out. So I'm really happy I have this. I think it's really going to shine the most in springtime. That's what really speaks to me anyway. So very happy to have that as part of my collection. All right, and now we are going to get to the last one, and this one is the ultimate because it is the one I'm most nervous for in terms of a blind buy. Everything else I'd smelled before. I knew kind of what I was getting myself into. I can just like smell all of them now. I love it. But this one, I ifed and ummed about it. And it's another replica. It's Replica Sailing Day. It's supposed to replicate Paroche in 2001. The fragrance descriptors are aquatic, deep sea, and this is also a unisex fragrance. I must have, and I keep trying to go back in my mind, like I probably did because I've smelled practically every single one of these that's available at Sephora anyways. And I did take a look. They didn't have like the green tea one, which I've always wanted to smell. Like all the ones that they had there were ones that I've smelled before, but this one I just can't recall for the life of me. And finally I just gave in because a lot of people were saying online that it's actually a really nice aquatic fragrance. And I figured let's just jump in the deep end now. So this one lists C notes, aldehydes, red pepper, coriander, juniper, something salicate, which I have no idea, iris, rose, seaweed, cedar, ambergris, and amberwood. I love the color of the juice. Let's start there. You rarely see like this kind of aquamarine blue juice. So we'll just discover it together. I will hopefully be able to tell if I've smelled it before, but you never know. So, Sailing Day. Oh, okay. This one, I don't think I've smelled it before. It doesn't seem familiar to me. There is a real, obviously there's an aquatic, like it's very aquatic, but it's not at all murky. I was worried about that. I was worried it was going to be murky. It does kind of smell like the early aughts or like the late 90s fresh fragrances. It gives, which makes sense, in 2001, it kind of gives me like 1999 CK1 vibes. It's just fresh, it's unisex, it's a little citrusy, it's very aquatic, it's breezy, it's clean but not laundry clean. I don't get any pepperiness or I don't get seaweed in it at all. That was a note that I was intrigued by, but it doesn't smell like that to me. It just kind of smells, it kind of smells like fresh, like eau de colognes for men of the like late 90s, early 2000s that then were marketed as being kind of more unisex. I do like it. I'm not disappointed. It is a nice aquatic fragrance, which is harder and harder to find these days because if they get murky, I just can't stand them. I feel like murkiness is a fragrance, I don't even want to get a category, but it's like a fragrance quality that I really struggle with. And like something like Ralph Lauren Blue, I think it's what it's called, the blue like rectangular square bottles. I really wanted to love that, but there's a real murky like lotus vibe to it, and this doesn't have that at all. It's probably the least interesting of the 3 replicas I got, but I am happy to have it, and that is Sailing Day by Replica. So now we will have to put them in order, and it is going to be a struggle because I'm just enamored with every single one. All right, after many moving around and many compilations, I think I've got my order, and the reality is I kind of love 4 and like 1, but I've done my best. So in last place, I think it's pretty clear, I'm pretty sure you've all guessed, I would put Sailing Day. I just think it's the least interesting out of all of them. It's the simplest, I would say, but simplest in a way that like I've just seen before. I do like it and gets brownie points for being a good aquatic fragrance and a non-murky aquatic fragrance. But in general, I see myself reaching for this probably the least out of the 5. Then in 4th place, I would give it to Under Lemon Trees. This is hard because from now onwards, I really, really do like them. Then I had to just be more realistic with what I was going to reach for when. Like, probably because of where, you know, the climate I am in and just my day-to-day life, I'm going to reach for a scent like this the least, again, out of the ones I love. If I lived somewhere where it was kind of like springtime weather forever, I would be a lot more drawn to this. And I do really like it because spring is my favorite season. So I think like my heart is in it, but my head is like a little bit more torn. It's nice, but there are definitely more that were my vibe. Surprisingly, I would say I liked that one less than how I'm feeling about La Belle. La Belle is honestly, I keep smelling it because it's got pretty good sillage. I'm really into it today, you guys. I might change my mind by tomorrow. Don't hold me to this because obviously my opinions changed from when I sampled, but I keep smelling it, and the top 3 were very hard. There's like, in some ways this is my number 1, in some ways it's my number 3. I just had to reduce some points for this one because obviously I'm not as decisive on it if it's already changed for me once. But in general, I feel like today, for whatever reason, I see the hype a lot more. In 2nd place, I would give it to By the Fireplace. This was a very close 1st place. The only thing I'd say is maybe because I only sprayed 1, but it's not as strong as I would like. Like, I feel like I'm gonna have to really overspray this one more than my number 1 spot. But otherwise, I love this. I love the smokiness. I love the like wood burning fire, like clove warmth to this. And I like how they don't go overly sweet with it, and it can just be exactly what it is. And in 1st place, that obviously leaves Pure Musc by Narciso Rodriguez. other than the personal like attachment that I have to it, and obviously it reminds me of my cousin, and I love that. I really am into this. It just has this kind of interesting cleanliness to it. I feel like I will get a whole lot of wear of this. Like I already know that I want to wear it immediately and drown myself in it. And it is stronger with like one spray than By the Fireplaces. At least today I felt like this I can smell a lot more, and I'm getting some pretty good sillage off of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this haul. As always, let me know in the comments below which one of these fragrances you've tried or you'd like to try. I'm sure you have a lot more experience with Replica fragrances and of course La Belle, so I'd love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye!